How you doing, Ben? My name's Gabriel. I live in Austin. Sub for about a month. Love the show.
Thanks, man.
Just wanted to ask you, kind of related to what you've been talking about in a recent episode of TYT. Cenk had brought up the Jeff Sessions things about, he wasn't confirmed 30 years ago, but now he's about to be confirmed for a, even higher position in law enforcement. And I wanted to know what you thought about not only race relations between then and now, because there's a lot to say about that, but it seems like there's obviously an obvious direct relation between, I don't want to be too blunt with this, but how the white middle class is doing, because they're hurting worse than they were 30 years ago, and race relations. I feel like when I was a little kid in the 80s, you would have never seen, or maybe I was just, obviously too young and too naive, but I feel like, you never heard about these kind of things being thrown around, these obvious racialisms. And then obviously after President Obama was elected, everybody was so happy. And then soon enough, the birthers came around and they just totally perverted the whole thing.
It got crazy.
So I really wanted to know your opinion on like 30 years ago versus now and how that relates to the economics too. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. I'll take a stab at that. So let me get this dude off my camera though, because, he's problematic. So let's be sure, like, racism is embedded in America, has been embedded in America, and is never going anywhere. Sorry. I hate to tell everybody, it's not going anywhere. It probably won't go anywhere until white genocide, as defined by the white nationalists and neo-Nazis, actually occurs. And they define it by the browning of America and the end of the white race because of interracial marriages and, having children with brown people and black people. So until all of America looks the same exact way, and I'm sure then we'll find a new way to have a new level of racism. So I don't think racism is going anywhere. That's number one. Number two, in the 80s, the racism was nicely curated. It was a fine wine compared to the Mad Dog 2020, the shit we get today, right? It was there. It was just welfare queens and young studs and Cadillac welfare moms, right? The shit that Ronald Reagan was saying. There was very dog whistle. It was very much a dog whistle. It was his way of being racist and stroking that racist sentiment in a lot of white America, right? He could say it without ever being, without anyone being able to come to say you're being a racist, right? Because he could say welfare queens, and in the minds of racists, they're thinking, yeah, the black woman driving around in her Cadillac and she's going to get steak and lobsters. Actually, they're not going to say it like that. They're going to say, yeah, them black women going around with 6 children. They got 5, 6 children. They in line getting lobsters and I'm eating bologna. He could say welfare queen and they would think that, and he would never be held accountable for it because he'd say, I'm talking about all, everyone who takes welfare. So it was professional, fine. It was finely curated. It was magnificent racism compared to the shit we have today where, they just call Michelle Obama a gorilla, right? Or, it's just, we've just degraded. We just did away with the dog whistle and we've just come out with the loud and proud neo-Nazis. Like neo-Nazis couldn't be loud and proud back in the 80s. They were in the closets, now they have their Nazi parade, loud and proud. So I don't want anyone to fool themselves to think that the racism was worse or better. I think it's the same. I just think it's how it's delivered. I do find the greatest irony, though, that this means that today someone like Jeff Sessions, who was too racist in the 80s to get confirmed, can now get confirmed. Because, what's the threshold? Donald Trump can call Mexicans rapists and get elected president of the United States. So I think it's less about a shift in the type of racism. No, I'm sorry. It's less about a shift in the amount of racism in America and more about the shift in the type of racism. We've just done away with the dog whistles. The racism was always here. It's just now out loud, proud, unabashed, unashamed. And just like to let the racists know, fools jump up to get smacked down. Like I'm a Christian and I try to be peaceful and forgiving, but a bitch will get slapped. So just keep that in mind in this loud and proud and, you're free to be, all this shit. Don't get it twisted. We're not that intelligent. we will act crazy on you real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I don't advocate violence for anybody else. My life, on the other hand,